Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and I'm actually really excited about today's review. This is the Asus TUF Gaming A15. I'm excited for a number of reasons. First and foremost being the fact that Asus has finally started naming their laptops more sensibly. A15 means AMD powered and 15-inch display. There's also the A17, which is the 17-inch variant of this laptop, which we don't have for review. Second thing to be excited about, this is powered by the brand new Ryzen 7 CPU, which is in the 4000 series, built on the 7nm process. So there's been a lot of excitement around this particular processor, this particular series, and we've finally been able to test a lot of it out, and we've got some pretty interesting results. So stay tuned. First and foremost, let's go over the specs of the Asus TUF Gaming A15. At the heart of this machine, this particular laptop, is the AMD Ryzen 7 4800H. It is an 8-core processor, that's right, that's what I said, with a base clock speed of 2.9 GHz and a boost clock of 4.2 GHz. Besides the CPU, there's also 16 gigs of RAM, and the laptop is actually upgradable to 32 gigs, so yay. Accompanying that is the Nvidia GTX 1660 Ti, and we'll talk about that as well in the performance section, whether that's a good choice or not. Then there is a 512 GB NVMe drive operating at X2 speeds and a 1TB hard drive. Now the best part is that Asus has made sure that this gaming laptop is user upgradable. Gamers love to upgrade the machines. We want the most out of it. So you can actually flip this machine over, unscrew the back panel, and in fact the back panel and the screws are designed to be opened easily, and you can replace the RAM, the storage, and that's pretty much all you can do, because you can't of course replace the processor or the GPU. In terms of the display, this is a full HD display with IPS level color reproduction, but more excitingly a 144Hz panel. So you have basically a best of most worlds kind of situation happening here. There's the exciting Ryzen processor, there's the Nvidia 1660 Ti, there is 16 gigs of RAM, NVMe storage, a high refresh rate display, and that's pretty amazing for a laptop that belongs to the mid-tier segment. So the real question now is, how does it perform? So let's get into the performance of it. So of course, one of the best ways to gauge the performance of a gaming laptop is via benchmarks. Like, benchmarks offer this, level playing field for measuring performance across multiple laptops. So we use 3D Mark to first gauge exactly what kind of graphic performance we can expect out of this machine. For 3D Mark Firestrike, you have a score of 3176, and so on and so forth. For Port Royal, you're looking at 1446, for Time Spy 5618. So you can actually see all of the benchmarks that we run on this laptop. The scores are on the display. All the benchmarks aside, what the gaming laptop is really supposed to do is give you a good gaming experience, and that's sort of what we wanted to figure out. Our games of choice for this: Gears 5, Control, Hellblade, Overwatch, Doom Eternal, actually just a whole bunch of these modern titles. Pretty excited about it. Now, we've got all of the frame rates on the display for you to see, but some of the notable numbers would be, for example, Doom Eternal, where we could push the frame rate all the way up to 122 frames per second at medium graphics. Now, medium does not necessarily mean you're going to see pixels or you're going to see pixelated artwork. It still looks very visually appealing, if you would call Doom Eternal's hellscape appealing, but impressive nonetheless. Overwatch, again, at high graphics, you can actually expect about 120 to 123 FPS average, and that's something we saw. And here's the best part: you could tweak individual graphic parameters without having to drop the overall quality and get more out of this machine. The frame rates overall are fairly impressive for the CPU and GPU combination, but what was actually more noticeable across our gameplay testing was that the CPU was not loaded as much as the GPU was. The GPU, for most of the part, ran at 100%, 98 to 100% usage, whereas the CPU stayed between 60 to 70% used. So we have a feeling that maybe a 2060 would be better suited for the 4800H. That's something that will be a matter of another video for now, but you can actually see all the gameplay frame rates on the display right now. Now let's take a look at the design and the build quality of the A15. This machine actually takes a lot of cues from the ROG Scar and Hero series of laptops in terms of its cutouts, the angular design, all of that. But at the same time, ASUS also recognizes a need for more simpler looking machines, which is why you have one variant which comes with this really plain lid. So there's nothing flashy, there's no RGB, there is no aggressive lines, none of that. It's just a plain cover, which is actually pretty nice. But if you open it up, that's where you see the signature gaming design language from Asus over here. Unfortunately, you don't get the volume or the Armory Crate dedicated keys that you would on an ROG laptop, but that's alright. The other thing you don't get is a 4-zone or even a per key RGB keyboard. It is a single zone RGB keyboard, but actually, well, that's going to be a personal preference whether you like it or not. What you will like for sure is the typing experience on this, because the 1.8mm of travel on these things is absolutely amazing. Now this keyboard feels almost straight out of a ROG Scar series laptop. Amazing. The trackpad works very well, and what I really like this time around is they've actually included individual right and left click buttons. It's not just that one huge trackpad like the previous years that you had to tap on. The failure rate on those was pretty high, but this I'm hoping works out very well. The other aspect of design that these guys have really done a good job in is in terms of the upgradability. Now we touched upon this in the earlier part of this video, but I want to go over it once again. Here's the thing, this is a gaming laptop and Asus knows that people will eventually want to upgrade certain parts, so they've made this very easy. The screws are captive on the back, so you can just unscrew the whole thing and not have to worry about losing them. And the lid actually has been designed to easily be taken off. You don't need an extra pry tool, or you don't have to break your nails or something and try to get the back open. Once it is open, you will find that you can add one additional M.2 SSD if you wanted to, NVMe SSD, or you could even upgrade the RAM from the current 16 gig to 32 gigs, which Asus tells us is what has been tested. They do say that you could potentially add 64 GB to it, but they haven't tested it, and I wouldn't push it that far either. I think 32 gigs should be decent enough with this kind of combination, because with that 1660 Ti, it's probably going to end up being the bottlenecking component if you did upgrade your RAM to that much. So overall, the A15 is a very impressive gaming laptop, no doubt, especially in the mid segment where it's going to be competing. So let's consider the fact that this laptop has a price tag of Rs 94,990. Well, that's at least for the configuration that we've reviewed. It's a fairly high-end configuration, and for the price it does deliver pretty significant amount of performance, also while keeping heat in check. The construction quality is pretty solid, although the lid quality could have been better. There is a lot of flicks on the lid and on the hinge. But what we do appreciate is the easily upgradable insides. It is easy to upgrade the RAM, and you can also add an additional NVMe drive on top of what's already in there. This secondary NVMe drive slot is of course only available on variants that come with a 1660 Ti and above. Overall, it does feel like a fairly wholesome package, especially given that the performance of this laptop as of now is unmatched in its segment. We do expect that as more OEMs start rolling out Ryzen 7 powered or Ryzen powered gaming laptops in the near future, this Asus TUF Gaming A15 is going to have more competition. But for now, this is actually a surprisingly good laptop for the money. So thank you guys for watching this video, and in case you liked it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and do not forget to share this video with your friends.